organising for Julian Assange and for Chelsea Manning. I'm not stopping, we're going all the way. It's Choose Your Sides time. Here we are.
I'm outside Westminster Magistrates Court with none other than Julian Assange.
Just call me J.A.
From one Julian to another. Thank you, J.A. Patrick Coss is around here somewhere as well. He's just disappeared.
Yeah, he's holding the fort.
Holding the fort. Look, we haven't learned much today other than that we're going to do this all again on the 30th of May.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
What are your hopes for May 30th and going forward?
Oh, hopes, good grief.
Hopes and dreams.
I thought, you know, there was a meeting last night. What date are we today? Second, on the 1st, in a church in Holborn. I was tempted to go. It was live streamed by Barnaby Naburka of Ropley.
I was there, George Galloway.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah, I found the American bloke at the end a bit kind of boring, and he didn't quite have his facts together, but we're all there for a good cause. And it's great news that George Galloway is going to stand in this by-election as well.
And where's that happening?
I've forgotten, but it's like north of London and probably north of Watford even, sort of thing, you know. So that's very good.
Forget where it is, but yes, he's going to stand in a by-election as an independent.
As an independent, of course, you know, because I think like coming out about the Polaris, the Labour leadership has to be a bit careful about what it says, because it's already been threatened by a general or an admiral. It's a bit like that old, what was that band called? Majors and Generals, XTC.
There you go. A bit before my time, possibly.
Yes, but then, you know, J.A. is older than he looks, you know. Yeah, so there was on the Unity for J thing, there was a legal expert whose name I've forgotten. He said he thought all this stuff was going to happen real quick, pronto. I thought up until yesterday that the jumping bail hearing was going to be in a week and a half's time. And I thought that's a curious way round to have it, and it's very suspicious. Then all of a sudden, at the last minute, I hear it was yesterday. Yeah,
I was surprised there was something yesterday. I knew all about this, and I was ready for Thursday.
Yes, yeah. Tuesday was the day for something or other. Yeah. So, and I was right, extradition for computer fraud and abuse. Yeah. And he wasn't in court physically.
No, it was a live video link, right?
Which I also anticipated. Okay. So yesterday was a total
why did you anticipate that? Why not appear live?
Because
as in not be there.
They got him in a category A status, considering what the case, the legal issue is supposed to be, which reveals that it's taken much more serious than the superficial surface appearance. But it also shows that, like, you know, it's what's been going on for well over a year now. He's been kept absolutely silent, you know. There's some people on the web criticising his legal representatives, and they're still there chatting, you know. Good on you, Jennifer Robinson and whoever else, and Doughty Street, whatever. Somebody like anonymous type was saying, you know, direct into the last interview Julian ever did, which was some video link to a conference, and it's up on the web. The audio's a bit rough at the beginning, but it's very good towards the end, and they've linked these people on the web, this Twitter account, to a certain piece where he's talking about, well, any client is always in the position with your lawyers that you hope they're acting for your best interest to the best of their skills and abilities and their ethical capabilities, rather than letting you slip to second place and putting their own interests ahead of you. Now, of course, in highly charged situations and stuff, even the best intentioned people, and nobody who supports Assange up until just recently is getting any kind of like a support. It's all been opprobrium for anybody speaking for Assange. So that's kind of background of the situation. But anyway, what Assange says in answer to this, he says all you can do is measure them by their outputs, by their, and so far what have we got to moan about and stuff? You know, Kieran's been very good lately and so lucid. Anybody taking an interest in this and wondering how do we resist? Somebody who's not here today, so I'm going to have to speak on their behalf, is the Irish descended Australian anti-war pacifist resister Kieran O'Reilly,
Yeah.
who the left here back in 2013 at the Anarchist Book Fair persecuted him and called him a manicist and gave him a load of identity politics grief when he was the key person at the time organising for Julian Assange and for Chelsea Manning. He is currently camped in the central reservation of the Western Way, opposite the entrance to Belmarsh Category A high security prison. The local council, Greenwich Council, have issued an ASBO on him. He's causing fear and distress to somebody or other. They haven't quite named the names. He replied, putting Julian Assange inside a Category A prison for a year for breaching bail is a farce. Now, Mr. O'Reilly follows the theology as a Catholic anarchist, which I'm inclined to myself. He follows the moral philosophy of Dorothy Day, who started with Peter Morin, a French anarchist, the Catholic worker movement in America, which try and do the mercies, clothe the naked, feed the hungry, house the homeless, and comfort the dying or those in prison. Also, Mr. O'Reilly subscribes to what's called the Ploughshares movement, riffing on that story of beating the swords, the metal of the swords, the blacksmith, about to spell this out to the new digital people, into a ploughshare to plough the earth with, instead of cut people's bodies with. Now, what he's done, I think, 3 times, has ended up in jail for trespassing onto the empire, the American Empire's military property during Gulf War I and Gulf War II, and interfering with their war machine and rendering it incapable. This is ploughshares and waiting, not running away and hiding. It's not subversion, it's a crime being committed willfully and morally and ethically in order to stop a greater crime happening. This is very relevant to what's happening here with Julian Assange and what he's done as a journalist publisher in creating and running the site WikiLeaks. I'm going to take a breather now, have a drink of water. I'll take questions if you like. I hope you got that okay and I didn't bleed the sound out too much.
Good man. Patrick, so much passion. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do a proper interview.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much.